World leaders are busy with summits and global conferences, painting a picture of stability and cooperation. But beneath the polished speeches, new threats are simmering. Tensions that could erupt into the next big invasion. Hotspots around the world are gathering ominous dark clouds. The question on everyone's mind is, where will the next invasion happen, and what could trigger it? History teaches us that even a single spark, an assassination or a skirmish, can draw major powers into conflict. Buckle up as we delve into the hidden flashpoints and emerging dangers that might ignite the next global crisis. Are you ready to uncover the secret storm brewing on the horizon?
A war with Iran will be World War III. So that's the point. Iran is not alone, and it will not remain alone. And so if we go to war with Iran, we are expanding the war with Russia.
At some point, there's going to be a third world war. And after World War III, who knows what's left after World War III? There's always this race between, do we become a multi-planet species or World War III? Which one is first? And if World War III is first, then maybe we never get to another planet.
In Europe, eyes are glued to the ongoing war in Ukraine. Russia's invasion has been brutal and relentless, but President Putin's ambitions might not stop there. Analysts fear he could turn his focus to neighboring countries once the dust settles. Moldova's breakaway region of Transnistria has long been under Russian influence and could be a tempting next target. Even Georgia's separatist regions raise concerns. The Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania may also be in Putin's crosshairs, despite NATO troops stationed there. An attack on a NATO member would trigger Article 5 and instantly drag the entire alliance into conflict, so any move there could spark a global war. In response, NATO has been reinforcing its eastern flank with thousands of troops in Poland and the Baltics. Belarus, a Russian ally, hosts Russian nuclear missiles. Experts warn an incursion into Poland via Belarus could happen with little warning. Could Europe be next on the front lines? Keep watching to find out. But it doesn't end in Europe. Across the globe, East Asia is heating up. The star of this show is undoubtedly Taiwan. China's government openly claims the island as its territory, and recent military drills have been the largest on record. Warships and bombers frequently skirt Taiwan's coast in shows of force. Just last month, Chinese carrier groups and fighter jets conducted huge maneuvers around Taiwan. The US, Japan, and other allies responded with their own patrols. US officials warn that the Chinese Navy could blockade or even invade Taiwan with astonishing speed if ordered. An invasion of Taiwan would be catastrophic, not only for the island's 23 million people, but for the global economy. Taiwan makes most of the world's advanced computer chips. Japan, alarmed by these moves, has sharply increased its defense spending to buy more missile ships and jets. But analysts caution that any Chinese assault would still be overwhelming at first. Imagine a full-scale amphibious assault across the Taiwan Strait. Could this nightmare scenario become reality? Stay tuned. Asia's pressure cooker doesn't stop there. To the north of Taiwan, the Korean Peninsula remains one of the world's most dangerous standoffs. North Korea, with its massive army and increasingly refined nuclear and missile arsenal, keeps global leaders on edge. Kim Jong-un's regime has explicitly vowed never to give up its nukes, and its war games have intensified. Long-range missiles launch over Japan. Nuclear-capable submarines prowl the seas. South Korea has spent billions on missile defenses and joint drills with the US. But analysts warn even a small clash could quickly escalate. North Korea's artillery alone could send thousands of shells into Seoul within minutes, with catastrophic casualties. Any miscalculation could spiral into a wider war, potentially even involving nuclear weapons. Could the peninsula ignite World War III? It sounds terrifying, but experts say it's exactly what to watch for.
The Israelis could launch a military strike in the coming days, and that they will likely do it without the support of the U.S.
Proud people of Iran, we're in the midst of one of the greatest military operations in history, Operation Rising Lion, رژیم صهیونیستی اشتباه بزرگی کرد. خطای بزرگی کرد.
Look, it's very simple, not complicated. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Other than that, I want them to be successful. I want them to be we'll help them be successful. We'll trade with them. We'll do whatever is necessary.
Meanwhile, the Middle East is anything but peaceful. The recent flare-up between Israel and Iran has put the entire region on high alert. Israel launched preemptive strikes on Iranian nuclear sites, and Iran, along with its allied militias in Lebanon and Yemen, responded with missiles and drones. This exchange lasted weeks and only paused under a fragile ceasefire. Neither side is backing down. Israel demonstrated strong air defenses, but Iran still has thousands of ballistic missiles and an expanding drone fleet. Its nuclear program is near the point of no return, with enough enriched uranium to build bombs. In Lebanon, Iran-backed Hezbollah is already rebuilding its missile stockpile. In Yemen, the Iran-aligned Houthis have been striking ships in the Red Sea and launching missiles at Saudi Arabia and the UAE. In short, the Middle East feels like one spark away from a full-blown regional war. Is Gaza the last battle here, or just the first spark of a wider conflict? Things are heating up fast, and let's not ignore the hotspots further afield. South Asia's nuclear-armed rivals, India and Pakistan, remain a chronically volatile pair. Their disputes over territory and resources could flare into a full-scale border war between nuclear powers.
Pakistan reserves the right and will respond to this aggression at a time, place, and means of our own choice.
Today on 10th May, at the time of Nare Takbir.
In 2024, a crisis over river waters brought the two nations to the brink, with saber rattling and threats from both sides. The disputed Kashmir region is a perennial tinderbox. Any serious skirmish along the line of control could spiral out of control. Pakistan's leaders often publicize their readiness to fight, prompting India to respond in kind with missile tests and troop mobilizations.
Supposing a country 7 times smaller than its neighbor is faced with the choice, either you surrender or you fight for your freedom till death, what will we do? I ask myself this question. And my belief is, La ilaha illallah, there is no God but one. And we will fight. And when a nuclear-armed country fights to the end, it will have consequences far beyond the borders.
Up north, India's unresolved border clashes with China still simmer, recalling the deadly 2020 standoffs. Add nuclear arsenals to the mix, and even a small incident could be disastrous. Could a forgotten border suddenly turn into a nuclear flashpoint? The stakes in South Asia might surprise you. Even regions often overlooked could see violence spread. In Africa, Russian and Chinese influence is growing in fragile states. Russia's mercenaries have been active in places like Mali and the Central African Republic, stirring unrest and often clashing with locals. China is securing resources through massive infrastructure projects. But tensions can flare if local conflicts get tangled with foreign interests. Conflicts in the Sahel and the Horn of Africa have been worsening. If one revolt escalates and outside powers intervene, what began as a civil war could look like an invasion. Even trade routes are at risk. The Red Sea corridor is threatened by Yemen's war, and Latin America has had border flashpoints like in Venezuela or Guyana. The world's flashpoints are multiplying, some far from the headlines. Which quiet corner of the globe might explode next? The answer may be closer, and more surprising than you think. So, where does this leave us? The truth is, the next invasion could come from many directions. It might not be a single superpower charging alone. It could play out as proxy wars, sudden incursions, or cyber and missile skirmishes that blur the lines of war. One thing is certain: the world is a powder keg. Summits on climate and trade, peace talks, and sports events, those can pause, because when an invasion happens, everything changes in an instant. We must stay vigilant. Diplomats may meet daily, but behind the scenes, they know the stakes. Nations around the world are deploying defenses and quietly preparing for worst-case scenarios. Some analysts warn the next conflict might not even look like a traditional war. Autonomous drones, stealthy cyberattacks, and misinformation campaigns could set the stage. When those first shots fall, the dominoes could topple rapidly. The best defense is awareness and unity. We can't afford to ignore the warning signs. The world can pivot on a dime. Stay informed and be prepared for wherever the sparks fly next. We might feel powerless watching these headlines, but knowledge is power. Keep questioning and stay alert, because being aware is your first line of defense. If you found this analysis eye-opening, hit the subscribe button and share this video with others. The more people understand the dangers, the safer we all become together.